Hi, I'm Steve Casely from CBT Nuggets, and this nugget is focused on controlling a stage, a Prince2 process where the project manager manages or controls all of the work involved with completing the deliverables for the stage. Controlling a stage, and again, the acronym is CS, is pure project management. So everything we're going to discuss in this nugget is either going to be done directly by ourselves as the project manager on the project or done by another member of our project management team, but it all ultimately resides in the responsibility of the project manager. So the objective of controlling a stage, I'm going to really oversimplify and say the objective of controlling the stage is project management. Now, in a little more detail, this is all about authorizing the work, assigning the work to the team, and validating the performance of the team against that work. And with the validation of the performance of the team against that work, we're able to report on the status of all of the work, report on the status of our stage against the baseline, and be able to provide predictable, realistic reports to management saying whether we're on schedule, whether we're ahead of schedule, behind schedule, whether we're on budget, and whether we're delivering to the quality expectations for the project. And the other key activity we need to do as part of controlling a stage is manage the issues and risks, the things that are going to cause our project to have challenge. And issues are current problems, and risks are future. But whether it's an issue or a risk, if we don't deal with it, if we don't get it resolved, if we don't manage it successfully, it's ultimately going to cause problems on our project. The key difference are issues, things we need to deal with now because they're causing problems on our project now, and risks are things that we have a little bit more time to probably prevent them before they become issues, and therefore will have less impact on our project. The outcomes, tongue-in-cheek, the successful delivery of the project is the main outcome of controlling a stage. We have successfully completed all of the work assigned to the team in the stage. We have successfully completed all of the deliverables on time, on budget, to business satisfaction, and it's been presented to the business and they are ecstatic with the result. So really the only true outcome of controlling a stage is success. But to a limited extent, we will have the interim deliverable or interim outcome from controlling the stage, which is the ongoing status reports to management, to the business, telling them how well we're doing and whether or not the project is on track or not on track. And at the activity level, controlling a stage has 8 activities. And again, all of these activities are PM activities, either to be done directly by ourselves, the project managers, or to be one of the assigned members of our project management team, the quality manager, the configuration manager, the risk manager, or the team leader. Within controlling a stage, the PM team needs to authorize the work packages, assign the work to the team. And this is a key activity because we want to ensure the right team members are working on the right work packages at the right time to allow us to achieve our schedule. With the work packages assigned, we need to work with the team members to understand what the status of these work packages is. Are they on time? Are they going to take longer? Are they going to be done early? And what are their problems? What are their issues? What are their warnings? But what is involved with getting the work packages completed, again, on time, on budget? As just discussed, we need to capture and examine the issues and the risks that are going to impact on future or on current project success. We need to have the dream and worry time, and we need to look for the issues and the risks that's going to cause project problems. And when we can't resolve them within our own power and authority, we're going to escalate these for management approval, for management attention, for management action. We also need to look after not just the individual work package status with the team, but we also need to understand what the bigger picture within the stage is going to be. On average, is the team on time, on budget? Is the team working effectively? Is the stage going to be completed on time, independent of whether team member number 1 is delivering a little bit later because team member 2 is going to deliver a little early? And where necessary, we're going to take corrective actions. We may reassign work packages to people who have better knowledge and skills. We're going to reassign work packages to people who have more time. We're going to find all of the corrective actions that have been identified for our issues and warnings through our stage status to keep the project on track, and we're going to report it. We're going to send status reports to the business. We're going to send status reports to senior management, and we're going to keep all of our stakeholders engaged and involved and informed. And finally, because we're authorizing the work package, because we're reviewing the work package, we're also going to receive the completed work package, and we're going to validate that they're complete. And our first activity is to authorize the work package. And at first blush, this may seem like a very simple activity. We have a project plan, we have resources assigned to the project plan, we publish the project plan, and we tell the team to do everything that's assigned to them on the project plan, and all is good. Well, no, not really. We need to explicitly assign the work packages to the team because we need to ensure the work packages are being done in the right order, to ensure all of the predecessors, all of the successors, all of the must be done befores are completed. And if we simply tell the individual team members, here are the 15 work packages that I expect you to work on over the next 6 months, chaos is going to occur because they're going to, for right or wrong reasons, they're going to complete the work packages in the wrong order. And a work package that is a prerequisite to 15 other work packages is going to be left to the last because it's either really easy and they wanted to save the easy stuff to the last, or alternatively, it's going to be really hard and they're just not quite sure how they want to do it, so they want to have more time to think about it. Picking which work packages to work on is not at the team's discretion. Assigning the work packages is absolutely the responsibility of the project management team, and that is to ensure the right work packages are assigned to the right team members in the right order to allow us to achieve our project schedule. And then with the work package assigned, the next key activity is to validate the estimates and the understanding. We think that the task should take 12 hours. That's what was developed as part of putting the project plan together, using our best knowledge, our expertise. We believe that this particular task can be done in 12 hours. We assign it to the team member, and we ask the team member to go away and validate the estimate. And this is where, as project managers, we sit back and hold our breath and say, I really hope they come back with a 12-hour or less estimate. What am I going to do if they come back with a 24 or a 36-hour estimate? Well, as part of validating the estimates, we have to accept that could happen. And if the team member comes back with a 36-hour estimate, our first step is going to be saying, seems awful high. Why do you think it's going to take that long? And it may well be that the team member has overanalyzed, overassumed, is gold plating, is building more functionality than the task really deserved, and therefore, again, you can better manage their understanding of the work required and saying, if I remove this and this and this, which is not within the expectations of what you're going to do in this task, what is your estimate going to be? Oh, with all of that removed, yeah, that really is a lot less work. Oh, I think I can get that done in 16 hours. Better. Still a little bit better, greater than 12, but certainly much closer. Don't give in just on that, saying, oh, phew, what a relief. I got them down by 20 hours from 36 to 16. I'm going to stop. Again, challenge them. Why do you think it's going to take 16 hours? Again, there may be a misunderstanding, and they may be able to rework their estimate and come back with 12, Or it may well be that they're going to say, here's why I think it's going to be 16. It's going to take me 3 hours to do part A. It's going to take me 4 hours to do part B. It's going to take me X hours to do part C. It's going to take me Y hours to do part D. That all adds up to 16. And then as a project manager, you have to say, yep, you're right. Now do I have your commitment that this task can be done in 16 hours? So we're going to validate their estimates. We're going to validate their understanding to make sure they're working on the right work, and we're going to get their commitment. You've committed to me you can do this task in 16 hours. I'm not going to ask them to put it in writing. I'm not going to ask them to leave a security deposit that says if I don't complete this task in 16 hours, now that's a really good idea though. That might be my retirement fund. No. But I'm going to get their commitment. Can you do this task in the 16 hours? And they're going to say, yes, Steve. If all goes according to plan, I should be able to do it in 16 hours, and that's all we can ask for. Validate the estimates, validate the understanding, validate the commitment, and then ensure the adequate resources are available, i.e. there's enough people, there's enough tools, there's enough supplies, there's access to the business SMEs, there's access to whatever resources the team member needs to get the job done. So a presumably very simple activity of simply authorizing the work packages, assigning the work to the team, has some very specific requirements for Prince2, making sure we're doing the work in the right order, validating that the team member understand exactly what's required and getting their commitment, and then as project managers, we're ensuring they have everything they need to get the job done. So with the work packages assigned, the next key activity that we're going to do as the project managers is to review the work package status. Validate that the work is being done, and the Steve's term for doing that is to collect the actuals. Okay, you told me you were going to do this task in 16 hours. We negotiated. We've agreed that it can be done in 16 hours. How are you doing? At the end of the first week, how much time have you spent on the task? Well, I spent 6 hours on the task. Good. Are you done? Ha, wishful thinking. No, Steve, I'm not done. Okay, how much time do you have left? I should have confidence that I can still complete this in the 10 hours. So the total is going to be 16 hours. So we're collecting the actuals, we're collecting their estimates to complete, and we're getting their commitment to get the job done. Next week comes along and say, how much time have you spent on it? Well, I've spent another 4 hours for a total of 10 to date. And again, we hold our breath. How much time do you have left to be done? They're going to look at you with a big grin on their face and say, I'm going to be done in 2 hours. Awesome. So now we have a total estimate of only 12 hours. That's the kind of news project managers like to hear. The task is going to be done ahead of schedule or under plan. But it's just as likely when they say, I've got 10 hours left, and they say, you know what, Steve? I hit some real snags this week. It's going to take me a little bit longer to work out the performance characteristics. It's actually going to take me another 8 hours to get the job done. So now it's 18. And although we really like to hear the news that the task is going to be done ahead of plan, we have to be prepared to accept the task is going to be done over plan or over estimate. Again, we're going to challenge them. We're going to validate that they really, truly are working as efficiently and effectively as possible. But we have to accept the fact that they're into the task. They have the details. They've explained to us this gnarly performance challenge that they're having. And we have to accept the fact that it's going to take more or less time as we're collecting the actuals. And that's where the next step is. We're going to validate the progress and we're going to validate the variances. And we're going to do this on a team member by team member status. And then we're going to be able to take all of the results in our project scheduling tool, our project scheduling software, and we're going to be able to understand the stage variances. So the laws of averages says for every team member that comes back and says it's going to take me 2 hours longer on a task, another team member should be coming back and saying, good news, Steve. it's going to take 2 hours less. Now, that's the perfect world. Often with IT projects, it's never quite that simple. Yeah, we're going to get some tasks that are going to come in under plan, but at least my projects, and maybe I'm just an overly optimistic estimator, but most projects I do believe we're going to get more over variances than under variances, and then it's our job to manage the progress in the variances and take the corrective actions, which is another activity we'll talk about in just a few moments. The next key thing that we need to do is getting the actuals is good, but we also need to do that physical communications with the team member and get their status update. What are you working on this week? What's going well? What's not going well? What are your plans for next week? What are your problems? What are your issues? What are your warnings? So to me, getting a work package status is collecting the facts. And the facts to me are the numbers, the hard, raw numbers. And we also have to collect the opinions. What am I working on? What are my problems? What are my issues? What are my warnings? And that's where I'm going to help identify my issues and risks, which again is another activity we're going to talk about in just a moment. And we're going to validate that the processes are being followed, that config management, that the code is being checked in, that the documents are being prepared according to our version control processes, that the quality processes are being followed, that the peer reviews are being conducted appropriately, and on and on and on. So working with the team members and validating that all of the work and only the work is being done according to the predefined project plan, and that all of our variances are explained and understood and justified. So with that information gathered from our team members, their problems, their issues, and the warnings leads us absolutely naturally into our next PM activity, which is to capture and examine the issues and the risks. The issues are the immediate probs, and the risks are future probs or problems. So we need to identify, we need to analyze, and we need to track all of the things that the team members are raising for us and their problems and issues and warnings. I'm having problem achieving the performance because our servers are out of date. I'm having problems getting access to the business SMEs because they're in the middle of the annual budget cycle and they don't have time to dedicate to the project. And we identify, analyze, and track all of the futures, all of those other bad things that could be happening on our project at some point in time. You know what, Steve? This new programming language, we're just not picking it up the way we want to. Give us a little bit longer, but it's looking like we're going to have some learning curve issues. So this is, again, just a re-elevation of that learning curve risk, and this is a revalidation that that learning curve risk may come to reality. So we're going to get our issues and our risks from our team through status. We're going to get our issues and our risks from the business, from interactions, from emails, from meetings. They're going to say, Steve, I have a concern. Steve is going to grab his piece of paper and he's going to write it down and he's going to take it back and he's going to identify and analyze and track it. We're going to get it from dream and worry. This is where Steve tries to find a few minutes of every week to dream and worry about what other things are going to go wrong on his project. And if Steve can find 2 hours, and that's a lot in some weeks and as a project manager, 2 hours of quiet time to dream and worry about things that are going to happen to cause project delivery challenges and then develop proactive strategies to make them happen, that's the best 2 hours of dream and worry I've ever spent on my project, because my 2 hours of dream and worry have eliminated 3 weeks of impact because I got the server ordered early and I got the server installed before it started to impact the performance of the team members and the compiles running slowly, or whatever the case is going to be. This process of identifying, analyzing, and tracking the issues and risks, we maintain the results of all of this in a Prince2 deliverable called the issue register and the risk register. And we review these registers in significant detail at the end of this Nugget series, where we review all of the key Prince2 deliverables. And finally, the team identified the fact that this learning curve may be coming to fruition. So now I'm going to implement some of those proactive actions that I thought about way back during Project Plan. There may be a learning curve, and I'm going to set aside contingency, time, or dollars, or both, to deal with this. So, okay, I was hoping this wouldn't happen, but I built 2 weeks of extra time into the project schedule, didn't tell anyone about it deliberately, because I knew that we may have some learning curve issues and the team's going to take a little bit longer. Or I built an extra $20,000 into my project budget so I could bring in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever the appropriate time frame of a local consultant who is a recognized expert in this programming language, so he or she can coach and support and do whatever they can do to help mitigate, to eliminate, to get rid of this risk with the learning curve. So with the issues and risks identified, hopefully the majority of them are things that we can deal with in our power and authority as the project manager, and we can make disappear from the project without truly having to raise the red flag up the flagpole. But the next key activity as a project manager is to escalate the issues and risks as needed. So if there's an issue or a really serious future-facing risk that really concerns us, we need to escalate it to senior management as needed. And really we do this by the management by exception principle, that I know anything that's within 10%, I have the power and authority. Anything between 10 and 25%, I'm going to escalate to my project board. Anything greater than 25%, I'm going to escalate to senior management, and so on. And this management by exception and escalation, we prepare the exception plan. Here's my prob. Here is my current actions. Here's what I've tried to do within my power and authority to deal with these issues and risks. Here is my evaluation of alternatives. Here's my recommendation. Dear management, please help me make this issue and risk go away. It's exceeded my tolerance. It's exceeded my ability to manage. Here's all of the details that you need to help me, and please help me. I'm escalating the issue and risk according to the Prince2 principle of management by exception. We set the foundation for this activity earlier when we were reviewing the work package status. We're collecting all of the individual status from our team members. We are going to plug that into our tools, our project management software, our budget management software, our risk register, our issue register, and we're going to then consolidate all of this, and we're going to track the stage progress against the stage baseline or the stage plan. We told the boss going into this that we're going to have this stage completed in 3.5 months. We are now 1.2 months into it. How are we doing? Tracking all of our progress, our actuals, and our revised estimates to complete. We're putting that all into our software. We're comparing that to our baseline. And with that, we should be able to effectively say at 1.2 months into the project, we are on schedule. Or at 1.2 months into the project, with the actuals and the ETCs, the variance is by having team members spending 18 hours on a 16-hour task, or in this case, even original estimate of a 12-hour task is resulting in a variance, and we're behind schedule by 0.1 of a month. So now instead of the project being done in 3.5 months, at this point we're forecasting the project will be done, or the stage will be done, in 3.6 months. But that is what reviewing the stage status is all about, is tracking the progress, comparing it to the baseline, taking our facts, comparing it to our plan, and coming up with realistic status to management as to how we're doing. Now, Prince2 recognizes this principle called earned value management. Doesn't spend a lot of time calling out exactly what earned value management is. Earned value management is a very, very effective tool to take your actuals, compare them to the plan, and come up with a revised estimate for our project. And simply put, at 1.2 months into the project, based on the progress we've gotten from our team, knowing that we are now at 0.1 month behind, the simplistic answer from our project manager says the project is going to be delivered in 3.6 months, which is that 0.1 month behind schedule. Earned value will take that projection just a little bit farther and says you're approximately a third of the way into the project, you're behind by 0.1 of a month, so therefore if we extrapolate that and say the next third of the project, using the past as a predictor for the future, we're likely to follow behind by another 0.1 of a month. And for our final third of our project, using the past as a predictor for the future, you're likely to fall behind by another third of a month. It's actually going to forecast that our project is not going to complete until 3.8 months. Now, earned value is much more complicated than simply saying it's going to multiply this out. I would encourage you to have a strong look at earned value management. You're not going to be explicitly tested on earned value management as part of Prince2 exam itself, but be aware of what earned value management is and how you could use earned value management as part of reviewing stage status. And the answer to your Prince2 certification is I can use earned value management to come up with a more realistic prediction of my project's completion or my stage completion using my facts, my actuals, compared to the plan, and come up with a realistic estimate of when the project is going to complete. And that's all you need to know of earned value management for your Prince2 exam. But I would encourage you to have a look at earned value management potentially the day after or the week after you've taken and passed your Prince2 certification, because I believe earned value is one of the most valuable tools that a project manager can have in his toolkit or her toolkit. Once we've tracked our progress versus our baseline, whether using conventional methods or earned value methods, we then need to reflect the results of these updates to the schedule, reflect these updates to the budget, and be prepared to report our new information, our new status, to our project stakeholders. But before we truly hang our heads in shame and say, dear boss, this is not going to be a 3.5 month stage, this is going to be a 3.8 month stage, the next PM activity we need to take on is taking corrective action. We need to resolve these project deviations. We're now 1.2 months into the project, and we've discovered that we have a 0.1 month variance. Talk to the team. Why did we have this variance? What's wrong? Is it bad estimates? Is it inadequate tools? Is it inadequate access to the subject matter experts? Is it learning curve? What can I do to resolve these project deviations, and then identify what the possible solutions are going to be? If the problem is inadequate access to the business SMEs, we're going to go to business management and say our project is now 0.1 of a month late, and the reason being the SMEs are not available. I understand you're in a budget crunch. When is the budget crunch going to be over? What can we do to resolve this? Is there any way we can reschedule work? Is there any way we can bring in a temp? Is there any way we can dedicate a SME to the project and have somebody take on? But look for possible solutions and then adjust the plan as needed. And the idea is you're discovered that 1 month variance, and we're going to nip it in the bud. We're going to say, yes, at this point in the project, we're late. There's nothing we can do about that. But by taking corrective actions, we're going to ensure it doesn't repeat. So this is going to say it's going to be at worst a 3.6. And this is where earned value doesn't truly help us. Earned value assumes the past challenges are going to repeat themselves into the future. If we take the appropriate corrective actions and implement the best solution, that 0.1 month issue is going to go away. Our delays due to the subject matter experts' unavailability is now going to be resolved. And unlike earned value, the best or worst case it's going to be is 3.6. And ideally, we're going to improve, because our possible solution is not going to only identify and remove the current problem. It's going to find a way to do process improvement. So hopefully we can win back that 0.1 month or even more win back to try to deliver the project early. So based on the facts, based on the actuals, based on tracking our progress, we can identify the problems and we can take corrective actions and adjust the plan to bring our project absolutely back on track, or even better still, to win back even more time to start to get prepared for delivering this 3.5 month stage early. So with all of that tracking of actuals at the team level done, and all that accumulation of the individual actuals into the overall plan for the stage done, and the comparison against the baseline or plan completed, and the identification and actioning on the corrective actions in play, and obviously all of our issue and risk management in place, it's time to report the results. It's time to report the status to the project stakeholders. So we need to produce checkpoint reports. And again, checkpoint reports is a Prince2 term. Steve would refer to the checkpoint reports as the weekly status. So this is where we would report to our sponsor and our acceptor. Here's all of the, I'm going to say relatively detailed. It's not detailed down to the individual team members level, but it's certainly detailed down to the specific work packages that have been worked on in this week. And we're going to produce these checkpoint reports to those stakeholders that want details. And a key message I want to give out is we need to report good and bad news. It's always a lot of fun, and it's always really easy to produce a checkpoint, a weekly status report that is reporting nothing but good news. The project is going well. All of the tasks are going to be completed on or below plan. And at this point in time, I'm forecasting the stage to be completed on schedule, and even a possibility that the stage is going to be completed a few days early. Well, those are fun status reports to produce. Unfortunately, I don't get to produce a lot of really fun status reports. I seem to, and maybe I'm just a bad project manager, but I'll say not, that I believe this is a characteristic of IT projects. There's often a lot of bad news we have to produce. And it's our job as project managers to be willing to report bad news, and to report bad news honestly. Now, we know we have management by exception, and anything that's plus or minus 10% is within our capacity to manage an action and resolve. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be reporting. Dear boss, as a result of this weekly status report, as a result of tracking my actuals, I am now forecasting a 8.4% negative variance on my schedule, i.e. I'm now forecasting that I'm going to be 8.1% behind schedule, which equates into the 0.1 month for consistency with what we've already discussed. This is within my power and authority, but I'm letting you know that the project is beginning to trend, that I'm beginning to have a concerning variance. I'm still taking action on it, and if you want to talk to me, I'd be more than happy to show you all of the actions that I'm taking. I'm working within my management exception, but you know what? It's getting close to that threshold. There's some bad news, and I don't want you to be surprised if that 8.1 becomes an 8.5 next week, and then becomes a 9.4, and within a month it's going to become a 10.5, in which case management by exception says, I need to be producing these exception plans and take them to your attention for future action. So as much fun as it is to produce the good news, Be prepared to produce the bad news, and bad news may mean it's only 8.1, and bad news may be that I think I can resolve this, but report the bad news. Because if we keep saying we're on schedule, we're on schedule, we're on schedule, we're on schedule, and all we're saying is we're within my 10%, and 6 weeks have gone by, and then all of a sudden, oh, dear boss, we're now 10.5% off schedule. This is now, I'm going to say, your problem. That's a nasty surprise to management. So be prepared to report the good news and the bad news. Be honest and report how you're doing within your management exception, even when it is within your power and authority to be working on it. So those are our weekly status reports. Our next Prince2 term is to prepare the highlight reports, which I would describe as the monthly reports, which are going to go to senior management. But the same thing applies. Report the good news, report the bad news, be honest, and tell senior management how it's going, because again, they have the power and authority, they have the interest, and they have the capacity to help us deliver our project successfully. And our last project management activity in this process is to receive the completed work packages. We are the first point of receipt of all of the work completed by our project team. Before it goes to the business, the work packages need to be delivered to the project team, to ourselves, to the PM, where we're going to validate the quality of the work packages. Is this a work package that my project would be proud to present to the business for review? And we're going to validate the completeness of the work package. Has this work package truly satisfied the business expectations? And once we validated that we, the PM, or we, the PM team, are happy with the results, then it's ready for the business. But the bottom line is, we're the project managers. We are the people who are totally responsible for the successful delivery of the project on time and on budget and to the specified quality. And the only way we can ensure that we're delivering to the specified quality is if we receive and validate and approve all of the work packages, and then we forward them on to the business for the formal acceptance. This concludes this nugget on controlling a stage, CS, the PM activities associated with successfully delivering a stage and then successfully delivering all of the stage for a project. There are 8 activities that we, the PMs or the PM team, need to do to successfully control a stage. And the first of these is authorizing the work package, making sure the team is working on the right stuff at the right time. We formally assign the team members to each work package. We review their understanding of the work package. We validate the estimate to get the work done. And then we obtain their commitment to deliver the work package, the deliverables from that work package for the project within that expectation. We work with the team on a regular basis, I would suggest weekly, to review the work package status, where we track actuals and the ETCs, the estimates to complete, and validate that the work is going well. We also get an individual status report from the team members that says what works well, what's not working well, what are my problems, what are my issues, what are my warnings, and we can use that as one of the key inputs into our PM activity of capturing and examining the issues and the risks, the current problems, and the future problems that are going to impact successful project delivery. The team status reports is not the only place we're going to get issues and risks. We're going to get issues and risks from the business. We're going to get issues and risks from our own personal dream and worry time. We're going to look for all of those bad things that are going to impact our project's ability to successfully conclude. We're going to take actions within our power and authority to ensure these issues and risks are resolved. And we're going to be prepared to escalate the issues and risks to management on the management by exception. So as soon as the variances exceeds our capacity to manage, our tolerance levels, we're going to create an exception plan. and we're going to review that exception plan with management, and then we're going to solicit management's help in resolving the issues and the risks. We're going to ongoing review the stage status, where we're going to sum or accumulate all of the individual work package status, and we're going to assess the impact or the status at the stage level. If there are issues, if we're running out of variances, we're going to take corrective actions. And again, where necessary, we're going to manage by exception. We're going to create exception plans, and we're going to escalate it to senior management. But hopefully, we, the project management team, can take a lot of actions ourselves to keep the project on track. We're going to report status. We're going to report the weekly, and we're going to report monthly status to the stakeholders, and we're going to have full, open, and honest status reporting. We're going to report the good news with the bad news, and we're going to have our management engaged and prepared and alert to the project circumstances so that when we need to escalate, they're informed and ready to help our project. And then finally, we're going to be the first point of acceptance for all of the work that's being done by the project team members. We're going to validate that the work is complete. We're going to validate that the work satisfies the quality expectations for the project. And then we will be prepared to deliver that to the business for formal acceptance. This concludes our nugget on controlling a stage, the project management activities defined by Prince2. I hope this module was informative for you, and thank you very much for viewing.